Hey everyone, it's Thorn. I haven't posted in a while, but wanted to say hello and check in, post something quick. I'm actually in between work meetings. I've taken a step back from social media by and large. Maybe I'll start there. You've probably noticed I haven't posted on Instagram, I think, since November, and I don't intend to start to again at this point. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but at this point, I don't see any reason to. I'm probably most active on Blue Sky right now. If you have a Blue Sky account, you can find me at Thorn the Witch. I'm not particularly active there either. Honestly, as I've stepped back from social media, the more conscious I've become of how much time and energy it ate. And we all know that, right? But I've enjoyed getting to kind of reconfigure my relationship with the world in different ways. And I'm going to keep plunking along at that. I'm also just very busy with regular, normal human being life, people outside the internet stuff. I have my day job. I'm working on my dissertation proposal for school, right? Summer gives kind of a break from teaching, right, and being on campus, but I'm still engaged in research. I'm traveling. If you've been here a while, you know that I'm an ethnographer, so I spend a lot of time actually in community with the people that I write about. So my brain is there. I'm going to be in Illinois in a week to do community research things. I was in Ohio last month. My attention and my time live elsewhere right now, and that's just how it has to be. I'm hoping, well, it doesn't have to be hope, right? I think I can say this factually. It's going to lead to more interesting things that I can say in public spaces when the time for that comes. But I think one of the things that I think maybe we don't talk about very much, not just in terms of like witchcraft or magic or religious studies or whatever, is just the idea of learning and expertise and how expertise is developed and how much time that takes. And, all of that energy that I'm putting into writing a book, for example, when I'm working on a book, like that's where my brain is. If there's been research involved, I've finished that and now it's time to write. And that's where the focal point is. If you are churning out book after book after book and you're running your mouth on the internet all the time and you're, you're constantly speaking, it makes for less time that you can potentially be taking information in. And some people are better at multitasking than I am, okay? There's lots of very productive writers and scholars out there who manage to teach and research and write and do all that stuff at the same time. I'm very single-minded. I like to do one thing at a time, insofar as that's ever possible. I just told you I work full-time while I'm doing this doctor school, right? But I'm focusing on crafting my expertise in another area, and that takes a lot of my time. So that's where I am. But I miss you, internet, right? I don't mean this as a judgment against social media, but I just need my brain back for a little bit. Anyway, I hope you all have been well. There's not a ton to report on my end, perhaps. Mostly what I do is I read and I do ethnography, which entails a lot of things. It's bodily, and it involves actually being in space and talking to people and participating in things. And yeah, you're doing stuff like interviews and whatever, but it's a lot deeper than that. It's a lot bigger than that. So I have been spending most of my time in paranormal communities. This is where a lot of my research is focused right now. Very broadly, just to tell you more, and if you've been here a while, you've heard a lot of this. My big picture focus is on the secular and what we mean by secularism, where we think those boundaries are between the secular and religion and whatever we mean by spiritual and spirituality, etc., and where those things may or may not intersect with things like science, right? This idea of science versus religion, right? Or like the secular space as an innately scientific space, etc. And I think what a lot of folks don't realize is how nebulous those categories can be in our everyday usage of them. So paranormal communities is a really good place to think about all of those things at once. So it's not exactly that I am hyper-focused on paranormal believers and practitioners and investigators themselves, like by virtue of themselves, although all of that is very interesting. I'm really interested in how these spaces, people in these spaces, construct what it means to be doing science versus what it means to be engaging in spirituality or religion, etc., and how all of those things get really blurry really fast. I could just as easily be looking at a bunch of different communities. I could have studied witches, right? I could have sort of stayed in my own yard and talked about witches. I very specifically didn't want to do that because of my insider stakes, right? You know, I think it's really difficult, and people do it well, I think. I mean, it's what I tried to do here, right? And I think I did a pretty good job. It's difficult as an insider to look at your own traditions, your own people, your own communities, your own events, whatever it is, your own language, and talk about it in a critical way. I don't mean objective. I don't think objectivity is really a thing, right? Nor should it necessarily be something we aspire to all the time. But being able to look at something and see it in terms of a wider context, draw comparisons to other movements, right? Note where things come from, even if those things are uncomfortable, etc. It's really difficult to do that when you're looking at your own people. So I didn't want to, I was comfortable writing a survey book. I wasn't comfortable doing a long-term dissertation project. So yeah, you know, you just don't want to shit where you eat. Some people are good at it. I'm not. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. I've been reading a whole lot. I've been meeting lots of cool people. I've been going on investigations. I've been doing some really neat stuff. And I'm learning a lot, and it's really gratifying to be engaged with something new. I'm working on developing some online seminar style classes that I'll get to talk more about in the fall. But I'm kind of shifting. I'm shifting things over here, right? If you've been around for a while, you know me as a Llewellyn author, somebody who's been talking about Gardnerian witchcraft on the internet for a long time. But I really want to shift more into other parts of my life, and a big part of that is my scholarship and my teaching. So that's where I'll be taking things in the future. I'm revamping my website, my dearly loved but oft neglected website, thornthewitch.com. Anyway, I hope you all are well. I have to go to a work meeting, like right now. I have to go bring home the bacon with my day job. So that I can spend the rest of my time talking on the internet and going to doctor school. Okay, hope you all are well. Bye.